A warm welcome. You're tuned into Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Ferguson-Biahi. These are the top stories on the continent. Emmerson Mnangagwa is sworn in as Zimbabwe's new president, bringing the final curtain down on Robert Mugabe's 37-year rule. Mnangagwa's vow to create jobs and boost a failing economy. We head to Harare for the latest reactions. Egypt's President Abdel-Fattah el-Sissi vows to respond with brutal force after militants attack a crowded mosque in northern Sinai, killing at least 235 people. And in central Mali, attacks by terror groups and radical preachers force over 200 schools to close their doors. Our correspondent sent us a report from the city of Mosque. But first, Zimbabwe's new leader, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has vowed to serve all citizens after being sworn in as the country's new president. Addressing a packed Harare stadium, Mnangagwa said that Zimbabwe was witnessing the beginning of a new unfolding democracy. The 75-year-old also paid tribute to his predecessor, Robert Mugabe, who dramatically resigned this week after 37 years in power. Clenon Bonero has the details in this report.
Tens of thousands break out into a dance in Zimbabwe's national stadium as Emmerson Mnangagwa takes the oath of office.
For the time that I shall be president of Zimbabwe, I solemnly promise that I shall, to the best of my ability, serve everyone who calls and considers Zimbabwe their home.
In his first address as president, Mnangagwa heaped praise on Robert Mugabe, who skipped the ceremony.
To me personally, he remains a father, mentor, comrade in arms, and my leader.
The new president has promised to hit the ground running and restore democracy to Zimbabwe by holding elections next August. He also says he wants to tackle political corruption and make the country an attractive place to do business.
Key choices will have to be made to attract foreign direct investment, to tackle high levels of unemployment while transforming our economy.
Despite unseating Mugabe, Mnangagwa remains associated with atrocities committed under the ruling ZANU-PF party, notably the deadly civil conflict in the 1980s when he was accused of suppressing opponents while serving as the country's spy master. It's unclear how much Emmerson Mnangagwa can accomplish ahead of next year's elections. There will be pressing issues staring him in the face, most notably an economy crippled by debt and an unemployment rate of nearly 80%, which has forced 3 million young and well-educated Zimbabweans to emigrate in recent years.
Well, to bring us the very latest on this story, Oliver Matthews joins us from Harare. Oliver, Zimbabweans seem jubilant as the new president was sworn in Harare. Is that the general feeling in the country?
Yes, I think so. The majority of Zimbabweans were born after independence in 1980. They've known no other leader, and for years they've faced a worsening economic situation, massive unemployment, and there was no hope of respite under Mugabe, and he just couldn't be dislodged. Emmerson Mnangagwa is supposed to be pro-business. He's said in his inauguration speech today that his government will pursue policies to attract foreign investment and stamp out corruption, improve efficiency, and his rallying call is jobs, 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 and that really resonates with people here. As someone pointed out, today was a working day, but his inauguration was fully attended at the National Stadium, which seats 50,000. So that tells you how bad unemployment is.
All right, so he certainly seems to be saying the right things to encourage Zimbabweans in this moment. Politically, though, there's a lot to be done. Any idea about who Mnangagwa will include in his cabinet, or indeed the role that the opposition is likely to play in all of this?
Well, there's lots of speculation. I've seen various lists of who he might include in his cabinet from the opposition, but nothing has been confirmed. But the new cabinet is what people will be looking at after today's speech, and and this is what many are hoping. Will he try to create a unity government that includes members of the opposition? Obviously, that would be appealing to investors, because the last time we had a unity government here, it boosted confidence a great deal. There was an opposition minister of finance, Tendai Biti, and the economy grew and there was cash in the banks. Now there's no cash in the banks. And Mnangagwa said that making sure there was cash would be a priority, and he said that people should be able to get their money as and when they need it. But will he believe it's worth including the opposition to get Zimbabwe's economy going again? Many here will hope so.
OK, Oliver Matthews speaking to us from Harare in Zimbabwe. Thank you. Next, Egypt's President Abdel-Fattah el-Sissi has vowed to respond with brutal force after militants attacked a crowded mosque in northern Sinai, killing at least 235 people. Well, during the assault, some 40 gunmen detonated explosives and shot worshippers. The assault is the deadliest on the peninsula since Islamists intensified their insurgency in 2013. France 24's Laurent Berstiger has this report.
Abdel-Fattah el-Sissi expressed his condolences to the victims and vowed a brutal response to the attack that left hundreds of people dead in northern Sinai.
The armed forces and the police will avenge our martyrs and restore security as soon as possible.
The Egyptian president spoke after militants stormed the Al-Rawda Mosque in Bir al-Abid in what was the deadliest attack in Egypt's modern history. Around 40 gunmen surrounded the building and set off a bomb before opening fire on worshippers who had gathered for weekly Friday prayers. According to several sources, the mosque was a known gathering place for Sufis, followers of a mystical branch of Islam who were often considered heretics by Muslim hardliners. Ambulances rushed to the scene to carry the wounded to hospital, and there were reports the attackers also fired at paramedics. Egyptian authorities declared 3 days of national mourning following the carnage. Egypt has been battling the Islamic State group in northern Sinai, where militants have already killed hundreds of policemen and soldiers and carried out attacks against local tribes and Christian churches.
The UN says 4 of its peacekeepers and a Malian soldier have been killed in attacks in northern Mali. The first attack happened in the Menaka region, which is close to the border with Niger, while a second targeted a MINUSMA convoy in the central Douentza area. Well, terror attacks in central Mali have forced over 200 schools to close. The UN says reopening them is particularly challenging because extremists are living among the local community. Anthony Fouchard sent us this report from the Mopti city with Katerina Vitozzi.
Underneath this tent, sitting on the ground, are dozens of children and a blackboard. It's basic but discreet, and the only way these children can get an education. Some haven't had a lesson in more than 3 years.
It was difficult when the school was shut. We had nothing to do. We just walked about. I worked in the fields and played football with my friends.
The teaching tent is just a few metres from a school which, although brand new, has been shut for 2 years. UNICEF have worked with the community to reopen it, and it recently has, but people still haven't returned.
A message came through here in the village saying that we had to shut the school. The school in Gundara, just nearby, shut as well. They said if we kept it open, they would kill us. Everyone was terrified.
Because of the threat, UN peacekeepers have increased their patrols, but the community keeps itself to itself. People think sharing information with security forces could lead to reprisal attacks. This teacher's school building is on the side of a road, too obvious to be a target, he hopes.
We don't know what to do at the moment. We've never seen a Malian soldier here saying that they're going to secure the area. The community is worried. Students are worried. Everyone's frightened. We don't know where to go. Sometimes we're told they're in one place, and then we're told they're somewhere else. So we don't know where we stand.
Who is the they that no one here will name? Radical preachers, terrorists, people can't bring themselves to say it. Whatever their name, they are against a standard education. And unless the military presence here is strengthened, it's difficult to see how these schools will open again.
And finally, many of you have probably been out dancing into the small hours, but how many of you have danced for days on end? Well, the Nigerian dancer and choreographer Odemiwu, Debbie, did just that and officially broke the Guinness World Record for the longest dancing for an individual. France 24's Clément Bonnereau has this report.
Meet the new dancing queen of Nigeria. Odemiwu Debbie broke the world record for the longest dance marathon on Wednesday, but kept going for another 14 hours, dancing for a total of 5 days and 17 hours uninterrupted.
It's not really about Guinness World Record. At the end of the day, it's just a certificate you get. But it's just about what's behind the push. And that was because I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to make people to understand something, which is the fact that you don't have to wait for people to create platforms for yourself.
The 22-year-old entertainer, who has over 40,000 followers on Instagram, was only allowed 5-minute breaks every other hour. She says she would have given up if it wasn't for the unwavering support of her fans.
It was hard and I was having so much pain. I was like, no, I took off my shoes at that point. I was like, I'm not doing it again. I got a very nice energy that just came and I was just back to normal.
Odemiwu Debbie took to dancing at the age of 6 and has always looked up to the famous Nigerian dancer and choreographer Kafi, who in 2006 broke the Guinness World Record for the longest dance party.
Your Eye on Africa team is back in about 50 minutes' time. Up next, more international headlines with France 24's Thomas Waterhouse. Do stay tuned.
Tech 24, presented by Julia Siegler and Dhananjay Kadolkar.
Welcome aboard Energy Observer. This X-racing catamaran powered by hydrogen is on a 6-year voyage around the world. In Tech 24 this week, we'll tell you more about hydrogen. Is it set to become the fuel of the future, powering our cars, homes and offices? We'll tell you more in this edition.
Tech 24 on France 24 and France24.com.